Some attractions fit their surroundings perfectly, but a sea-themed aquarium in the middle of the Great Smoky Mountains? Not so much. And yet, somehow, Ripley's Aquarium has survived 25 years and is still going strong. So, if you want to learn more, keep watching. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. Welcome everyone to our channel. Today we're heading to one of the most recognizable attractions in Gatlinburg, the Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies. For the last 25 years, millions of people have walked through these doors, including us many times, making this aquarium one of the biggest and most popular attractions in Gatlinburg. So for today's video, we're going to just talk about some of the most recent changes and updates to the aquarium. There are quite a lot that we're not going to cover that happened over the last 25 years, but there are some significant changes that happened within the last 2 years. Now, most Ripley's attractions are a one and done. Heck, even if you've been to one Ripley's in Florida and then go to the one in Tennessee, outside of their unique exterior facades, most Ripley's inside are pretty much the same. Not much is different from each other. Sure, they're fun and quirky, and I think that's the appeal of it. You know what you're going to get when you're going there, but they all basically have the same format and all the same stuff. However, the Ripley's Aquarium breaks the mold. Even if you've been there a dozen times, the landscape keeps changing. We've actually been annual pass holders for years, so it isn't one of those places if we've only visited once. It's somewhere we find ourselves returning to again and again because every visit seems to be a little different. But how did this aquarium end up hundreds of miles from the ocean? Why did Ripley's choose Gatlinburg? And after 25 years, what has actually changed? The first question is, why are they here? Well, here's the thing. Ripley's actually established themselves in the Gatlinburg area in the 1950s. They've been here a long time. So in the 1990s, tourism was booming in the area, and I can only imagine the Ripley's people standing around a big cylinder table and saying, oh, well, what should we do here? What is the most bizarre thing we could put in the Smoky Mountains? Maybe someone looked at the blue-green hills and said, I think a shark should be swimming out there. But of course, they wanted to make this way more interactive and exciting, so they decided to put live ones instead of the stuffed ones you will normally find in most museums. But Ripley's didn't want to just stop there. They didn't want just sharks. They wanted a lot of sharks and big tanks and all kinds of fun aquatic animals. And that is how the aquarium came to be. Now, whether or not someone had looked up and just said, oh, that looks like a shark cloud, let's put an aquarium there, I don't know. But I'm going to guess that the blue-green hills had something to do with their inspiration. That's my guess anyway. And another component that I believe went into the decision to put an aquarium in Gatlinburg is the simple fact that Gatlinburg is one of those destinations that's more affordable. So people don't just go one time in their whole life. Aquariums are super expensive. They need a consistent influx of people coming in. And what better way to do this than to have in a place where people do return a lot and there is a lot of volume of tourism. And this is one of the reasons I also believe that they have been so popular. Not only do people who are coming in for the first time ever find this amazing, but also people who have been there 20 times, like us, find it just as amazing. I think it was actually a really good business decision, if you ask me. Now, one of the things we've always appreciated about Ripley's Aquarium is it's not just a giant tank full of fish. It's laid out like a journey through different aquatic worlds. You'll wander from tropical rainforests to colorful coral reefs, through rivers and streams, and eventually into the open ocean. Along the way, you'll see freshwater and saltwater animals, waddling penguins, slow-moving reptiles, sharks, stingrays, turtles, and, well, just one turtle, and hundreds of species of fish. Honestly, if it lives in and around water, there's a pretty good chance Ripley has found a place for it. And that's one of the reasons we enjoy coming back. Every visit seems to reveal an animal we somehow overlooked the last time. The centerpiece of the aquarium is their Shark Lagoon, which is a massive habitat holding approximately 750,000 gallons of saltwater, all dedicated to recreating life beneath the sea. Visitors can experience it through a 340-foot long underwater tunnel. You can either stand on the glide path or walk on foot. Personally, I recommend the glide path the first time. You'll spend so much time looking up that if you're anything like me, there's a good chance you are going to be flat on your face because you tripped on your own feet. When the aquarium opened in 2000, this was one of the longest underwater aquarium tunnels in the world, and even today it's still one of the most impressive features. Now, as you're gliding beneath the water, massive sand tiger sharks silently cruise overhead while schools of shimmering fish dart around you. Giant rays seem to fly through the water, and every direction you look reveals something new. No matter how many times we've visited, this exhibit never gets old. There's something both peaceful and awe-inspiring about standing beneath thousands of marine animals, watching an entire underworld carry on above us as though we were not even there. Now, one of my favorite traditions is trying to spot Sally. She's the only sea turtle in this tank. So if you've watched her channel, you notice that I'll go around and I'll try to find her. And once in a while, I get really lucky and I get a spot a glimpse at her, and I can actually get some photographs of her. It's a little game I like to play. But more times than not, we don't actually see her at all. She stays under the water for so long that the only time you'll get a glimpse of her is when she rises to get a little air. And if you're with your littles, it would be a great game to look around and see if you can spot the sea turtle. Now, for many visitors though, the Penguin Playhouse is the true highlight of their aquarium adventure. Here you'll find a colony of playful African penguins stealing the show. Not even Sally has anything on these guys. Whether they're diving effortlessly through the water, waddling across the rocks, or squabbling with one another, it's almost impossible not to stop and watch them for a while. One of my favorite little details is that each penguin has its own name displayed on its wing. Each visit, we end up searching for names of family members and friends so we can just snap pictures of them and send it to them. It's a simple touch, but it makes the experience even more fun and a little more personal. Just around the corner from the Penguin Playhouse is Ray Bay, where visitors can gently touch or even feed the stingrays as they glide effortlessly through the water. It's one thing to admire them from behind the glass, but another to be able to reach out and feel one as it swims through your fingers. Now, most of the time, the stingrays or baby sharks, they do have them in there, won't come near you unless you have a treat for them. So, if you do want to have the high chance of actually being able to pet one, you'll have to buy some of the treats because the sharks and the stingrays have gotten pretty smart. If you don't have something for them, they're not going to give you anything back. Now, there is another thing that Ripley's offers, which is called a stingray encounter, and you can actually get into the water for a truly up-close experience with these incredible creatures. They have it on their website if you want to book that kind of excursion. If you want a different perspective over this Shark Lagoon, you can also book the Glass Bottom Boat Adventure. And every time we've been there, we keep saying, well, we should try to do that on our next visit, and somehow we get distracted, and next thing we know, we didn't do it. So it's definitely on our bucket list of things that we do want to try someday in the Smoky Mountains. Now, beyond the amazing exhibits that you can find throughout the entire aquarium, one of the reasons Ripley's Aquarium has remained successful for 25 years is that it never stops evolving. While many attractions eventually begin to feel dated, Ripley's has continuously invested in new exhibits, interactive experiences, and educational programs that give both first-time visitors and annual pass holders a reason to come back. Just this past year, they unveiled one of their newest attractions, Dragons, where myth becomes reality. This imaginative exhibit explores the legends of dragons from cultures around the world before revealing the real-life animals that may have inspired those ancient tales. You'll encounter fascinating reptiles, amphibians, fish, and other remarkable creatures whose appearances are every bit as unbelievable as the myths themselves. It's a creative blend of fantasy, history, and science that fits surprisingly well within the aquarium and proves that Ripley's is always looking for a new way to educate and entertain its guests. Another exhibit that was recently changed, is Ripley's Ring of Fire. This exhibit focuses on tropical fish and colorful coral reefs inspired by the volcanic islands surrounding the Pacific's Ring of Fire. But if you make your way through the exhibit, you'll notice it's laid out a little differently than the rest of the aquarium. Instead of simply identifying the animals, you'll also find unusual facts, surprising trivia, and strange details about the creatures or things that you might find. This part of the aquarium is a clever way of blending Ripley's famous curiosity and sense of wonder with the aquarium experience. And it's one of those exhibits that's worth slowing down to read instead of just simply walking through. Since opening, exhibits have been updated, interactive experiences have expanded, and new educational programs have been introduced. One of the newest enhancements arrived this past winter with the addition of the immersive LED projection technology throughout parts of the aquarium. Instead of a static wall, visitors are now surrounded by animated projections and fun ways to learn new things. I have to admit, my camera simply didn't do it justice. I guess it's one of those features you really have to experience in person to appreciate. Either way, it adds another layer of immersion that helps transform a visit to the aquarium into something that feels more like stepping into an underwater world than just walking through an aquarium in the middle of the Smoky Mountains. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's more immersive that way. Ripley's Aquarium is far more than just another tourist attraction. For countless children, this is where they saw a shark for the first time, or touched a stingray, pet a jellyfish, or watched a penguin for their very first time. Parents who visited years ago are now returning with their own children, creating memories across generations. In a town where attractions are constantly changing and new entertainment competes for attention every year, Ripley's Aquarium has managed to remain one of the defining experiences of a trip to Gatlinburg. Now, some might argue that Ripley's Aquarium has remained successful for 25 years because it has never been afraid to evolve. New exhibits come and go, interactive experiences continue to improve, and technology keeps making each visit a little bit more different. But even though they do have all these changes, I actually don't think that's the true reason that the Ripley's Aquarium is so popular. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually think these immersive experiences and things they've added are definitely part of the equation. But I think the biggest reason is that Ripley's also remembers that the reason people are coming here aren't for the colorful displays, it's for the actual animals themselves. They do this by making it more than just a place where you can go look at fish. At the heart of it is an educational and conservation facility. Every exhibit is designed to not only showcase incredible animals, but also to help visitors understand the important role these species play in our planet's ecosystem and the challenges that many of them are facing in the wild. Beyond educating the public, the aquarium participates in research, supports breeding programs for vulnerable species, and works alongside accredited organizations dedicated to marine conservation and wildlife care. Through research efforts and conservation partnerships and hands-on educational programs, Ripley's is helping inspire the next generation of scientists, conservationists, and animal lovers. It's easy to see a shark, a stingray, or horseshoe crab on television and never give it a second thought. But when you're standing just a few feet away or even have the opportunity to touch one during an interactive experience, your perspective begins to change. These animals stop feeling like distant creatures from another world and become something you genuinely appreciate. That sense of wonder often turns into curiosity, and curiosity is where conservation begins. When people experience these animals firsthand, they're much more likely to care about protecting them and the habitats they call home. I hope this video helped you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, so please keep us in the loop if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bare Facts of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.